Hi, I'm Tim Elliott of Elliott Sidewalk Communities, a real estate developer that creates vibrant, walkable main streets in university towns. We carefully weave campus energy with downtown culture. Today, we're excited to introduce a major new project to the East Carolina University and Greenville communities, a place where business and science will merge, where innovation will flourish and growth-oriented businesses will actually thrive. This Pace Center Urban Hub will be located on the long-vacant Tobacco Warehouse District. Together with ECU and the city, our vision will be a catalyst to let ECU flourish, propel downtown Greenville jobs, and move the east region of North Carolina into economic harmony with growing central and west portions of the state. You could say this is an Olympic training center for business growth where university research, corporate R&D meet, train, and win.
Good news. It's a great day to be a pirate. I am so excited because we're about to add significantly to our tradition of applied research, innovation, and economic development. We're going to be partnering with Elliott Sidewalk Communities, and I'm so excited about our partnership. ESC is a very experienced university town master developer, and what we aim to do is to build an innovation hub right here in Greenville, North Carolina. Tim Elliott and his team will start with 3 historic buildings located in what we call the Warehouse District. And all remaining 19 acres will be included in an exciting vision for urban development based on innovation, creativity, and applied research. With our life sciences building and biotech building right across the street, this is a really important groundswell of opportunity for ECU and Greenville. I see this hub, this new center for innovation, as a key ingredient in the futures not only of ECU but Greenville. It'll be a shining star. It will provide the kind of attractive destination that brings talent. It brings talented faculty, talented students, and private investment to Greenville, North Carolina. So I said it before, it's an exciting day, good day to be a pirate.
Hello, I'm Merrill Flood with East Carolina University, Director of Millennial Campus Planning. I am pleased to participate in the announcement of this, the Innovation Campus for East Carolina University, or also known as the Millennial Campus. The establishment of the Millennial Campus further demonstrates the commitment of East Carolina University to Eastern North Carolina and the region's challenging needs. Although conversations for the Millennial Campus began several years ago, things actually began to take shape in 2015 when the UNC Board of Governors designated 5 strategic areas as Millennial Campus. We're excited about this opportunity to establish this, the next chapter in East Carolina's history. The development of the Innovation Campus is through a unique public-private partnership with Elliott Sidewalk Communities and East Carolina University. Development of innovation campuses through a public-private partnership are quite common. This development method combines the assets and talent of a university along with the experience and resources of a development partner to bring a project to market in an express time frame. It reduces the financial exposure of the university in the development phases of a project of this size and scope. We're very fortunate to have a development partner such as Elliott Sidewalk to work with in this, our new day, the announcement and launch of our Innovation Campus. Join me in hearing from various community partners how the Millennial Campus will impact this, the community, the region, and the city, this, our new day, the announcement of our Millennial Campus.
As you can see, here we are on Dickinson Avenue. We're seeing a lot of new restaurants that have opened up over here, some retail locations as well. We've got our other section of downtown that has seen a lot of growth as well. So what we're starting to see right now is we're starting to see more of a walkable downtown area. With a Millennial Campus being added to this area, it's going to increase the walkability for a larger area in our community. You know, with the 10th Street connector, it basically splits right in between our downtown area and the Millennial Campus. And so when people get to the top of that bridge, they'll be able to see not only the unbelievable growth that's taken place over in our downtown area, but also they're going to see the new Millennial Campus that's being reconstructed and really see the amount of development that's taken place and how much growth has taken place in such a short period of time. So we're really excited to be able to see the Millennial Campus add to what's already started here and continuing to grow and bring more people to our community.
My name is Steve Weathers. I'm the president and CEO of the Greenville E&C Alliance, and we are proud to be working with the developers of the Millennial Campus, which we believe will be an evolutionary development for our community here in Greenville, North Carolina. I think the Millennial Campus, it really will be evolutionary. It will take us to that next level of economic development and job creation. And you'll have the academic side, obviously, with ECU, the business side, which we work with, the public sector, and really the community at whole. Yeah, I think research and development is really the foundational base of all economic development. Every product we have on our shelf, every machine we use at some point was research, was developed in an academic institution and taken into the marketplace. So the more we can do to grow our research capabilities and our development capabilities, the more jobs we'll have here and the greater economic prosperity we'll have here in Greenville and in Pitt County. What we're looking forward to in the Millennial Campus is it will be an evolutionary development that's never occurred here before. It will create more collaborative opportunities for us to come together, and it'll be a unifying part of our community. So evolutionary, collaborative, and unifying. The Millennial Campus is ECU.
This warehouse project will have a tremendous impact on the city of Greenville. Between the innovation, research, and collaborative space, it will provide an economic driver for both the city of Greenville as the region. We have worked very closely with the developer of this project in order to provide lots of flexibility for use, to provide retail, office, as well as mixed use for this development. And what it will essentially do is take non-tax providing property and convert it into taxable property, which will create revenue to serve all the residents of the city of Greenville. The financial benefits of this warehouse district will be profound. It will also provide additional placemaking opportunities for Greenville as we really drive to make Greenville a place of destination. It will allow us to capitalize on our Build Grant, grant awarded to the city of Greenville from the United States Department of Transportation, as well as it will capitalize on what's going on here on Dickinson Avenue as we work to build the Dickinson Avenue Arts District. We could not be more excited about this project and really look forward to see it come to fruition.
So today we want to talk a little bit about the plan we have in mind. We want to peer into the new economy here in Greenville. Greenville, as a city, has done immense growth in the past couple of years. We've kind of taken the Dickinson Avenue district and really renovated that to exceptional shops and retail. And now we're at the next phase, Greenville 2.0. Where do we go beyond Dickinson? So at this stage, we want to get, our goal is to make jobs happen downtown. And so we're linking that with jobs and still sense of place. And I want to share that with you today. But before we go, I wanted to share with the audience a little bit about Elliott Sidewalk Communities, our experiences with university towns, how we think, what we do, and then we'll get into the vision here. So having said that, let's begin a little bit. At Elliott Sidewalk Communities, we like to say we build downtown joy. Any developer can build one building, build it up, and it's a great job. But we have to engineer an entire vision, a collection of buildings that has a ripple effect for the economy around it. So we like to merge campus, commerce, and community all into one, and that's what we're going to be doing here. One of our early projects was at Winthrop University, located in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It is a suburb of Charlotte, North Carolina, about 25 minutes to the south. Winthrop University and the Mill District and Main Street were disconnected. We had to take a 23-acre site, much like this was a kind of underutilized space connecting that. And you can see by this that the linkage between Winthrop and the Mill District and Main Street, that was like a missing tooth here. The project itself was a 23-acre, 1.4 million square foot empty warehouse of a textile mill. As we know in the South, tobacco and textiles were a key to the economy, and that those industries have moved on. And so here, this building that once had 5,000 employees in a 89,000 person city, that was a big hit. So it sat empty for 15 years, and I was able to help take the vision of an empty factory and put some rejuvenation of a vision into it. We went from textile to textile. And we always have to market it to that city's economy. So we went from a new factory of learning and living. And you can see the multiple buildings here, 12 buildings, 23 acres for an investment of $210 million. We had local partners there clearly execute a lot of this with us, but we were able to put together from an empty complex, put the building together, and make that come alive. As you can see, we also like to do regional architecture. In this particular case, we have what looks like a mill town. We saved some buildings. We had to add new buildings, but notice it doesn't glare at you that these are modern buildings. It's just overpowering and a couple of the historic. So we want to get that careful blend of history of what's happens here. And like this project, you can see there were a couple of stacks and that we utilized those stacks in the plan. Here, you're going to see a little bit of the construction that was about a year ago. Our local partner there on the right, Gary Williams, and my partner, Brian Rogers, we were looking at the exceptional work being done for executing and construction here, and you can see how large it is. But more importantly, see how we linked this empty complex, knocked a lot of it down, kept some of this, but if you can see the city beyond and how that direct link happens now, we need to do that here. And so let's talk about Greenville a little bit. This project here, the Dickinson Lofts, I'm not new to Greenville. I've been there for 6 years now. I had created with the city the master plan for the Dickinson area that was 100% vacant. And now we can see 3 blocks on Dickinson Avenue. And I think because of the loss at Dickinson and the project there, when we start, everybody else starts around us. As you see in this lower left here, this project, here's the Dickinson Lofts when we were under construction, but look at all this activity. Once we started, this happened. And now those of you in Greenville have been to this great area, lots of great restaurants, lots of walkability, and per our name, the art of the stroll, let's make a great sidewalk together. That's what we like to do. So let's talk about this project now. In building a vision, let's look from 35,000 feet up from an airplane, if you will. That's how we start to think about our large projects. Off to the west, we see the Health Sciences campus of Vidant Health and the Brody School of Medicine out here, employing around 6,500 people and growing. And you see also on the east, we have ECU's academic campus. And this linkage that, you know, the great 10th Street connector has now finalized and is operating, linking these two great economic engines. And then you'll note here this green line going to, this is Evans. And so that is where all the residential and retail activity is to the south. That Evans Street goes all the way to the front waterfront. And so now, if we look at that, why I mention all that is because I believe that this here is the hospital. This here, of course, is the ECU main campus. Here is your riverfront, airport just over here. This intersection is going to be the epicenter of the future of Greenville. And so we have to understand that as we come over the new 10th Street Bridge, we can see now the city before us for the first time. And then the site, as you can see, tucks right inside of there. And again, it's all about not just the real estate, but how do you vitalize the life and connect the city? And so we do that, but this is the abandoned railroad tracks that now connect straight to Dickinson. Our goal is to connect the city by reclaiming this empty railroad track and make that a hike and bike trail. I'll talk about that later in the presentation. But we think that's exciting to get up and over 10th Street, walk around right to the Ficklin building that's under renovation, as you all know, and there where everybody can form itself on the cultural street of Dickinson Avenue now. We think that's a great, great future ahead here. So how do we make this exciting for just jobs? We are putting together, of course, ECU's research together with business, and then if we can make a great environment with a park and a hike and bike trail, then we think that's a magnet for businesses ahead. Here is the site, as you can see in the red outline. Right now, these are abandoned historic buildings, or they are simple metal warehouse storage and maintenance sheds for the university. We're about to transform and pop about $150 million of investment over the next 8 years here, and I want to share that with you a little bit. This is the master plan. The master plan is taking those empty warehouses and rethinking how do we take some existing, like I did in Rock Hill, and how do we keep that, and how do we augment it with new construction. So here you see several buildings. Here is the Export Leaf Tobacco building. Some of you may know it as the Haney building. That building is going to be 100% renovated. It's on the historic register. We can't alter it from the exterior, but we're going to put great jobs and office space inside of that we'll share with you. What's interesting about that, though, in the plan, is that when you come over the great hillside now, the highest point in downtown Greenville, as you start to descend down the hill, you're going to notice the corner of this building in the brick that it is. But I tucked this back to have a really nice iconic fountain, and we're going to see this historic building against a new modern building. I'll share that with you. But note here, this is the hike and bike that is starting to come up and over 10th Street and connect to Dickinson. So when we do, again, I want a great iconic moment. There's going to be a day in the future, there's going to be a pedestrian bridge over 10th Street. And I'd like to say that when you come over this iconic pedestrian bridge, that this is just walk, this is not going to be a street for cars. We're going to be able to come in here from the cars from this angle, but this is going to be a pedestrian link going from the north-south. And this goes all the way into this residential community here that now exists. This residential community is going to be a marvelous place to live. And you're going to have a park right here at the fringe of it. So we're trying to link this great development with existing residential fabric so we can blend that a little bit. And as we come over 10th Street, again, you're going to come underneath the bridge, and you're going to see this iconic architecture of a bridge. You're going to see the history of the past of the export leaf tobacco, but immediately be struck with this new gorgeous fountain that will be here in this waterfront pond right as you come on 10th Street to the new front door of an iconic new high-tech looking research building that's right here. And then we're going to have a couple of office buildings here, and we'll have residential buildings in the back, and of course we have to have parking, and I'll share about a little bit more about the details of that. So as a developer, I have to go back and understand that we have to have water runoff for EPA today. We can't just let water run off right into the sewers, and especially in Greenville, and especially in the east here, we need to understand that there's a lot of water runoffs, a lot of rivers. We need to keep the water clean. So I have to filter that out before it reaches the sewers, and we're going to do that in a bio park. And so you're going to see this growth. We're going to maintain this rail hike and bike trail. It won't be rails, but it'll be an echo of where the rails were. As you can see, this kind of a boardwalk through there that you're going to walk through the plant life. This star represents the epicenter of this campus net. And so therefore, you're going to then see this park like this. So the front park will literally have a nice flat park to it. But you can walk through the other part down here where you're going to see some plant life and vegetation. So while we are in the city, we're also going to show that it's a comfortable place to be, and it's not dominated by the big urbanity that we're not trying to achieve. But we are in the city, so we'd like to have our cake and eat it too, to be in the park, but also be downtown. That's the advantage we have. And some of the things, though, that we have to pay attention to are outdoor classrooms. This COVID era we're living in, we have to provide spaces for people to separate, to be outside, to do these things. And so it's fun to kind of set this kind of outdoor conference space for people at the same time around office buildings. So let's talk about our first building a little bit. The first building is going to be this beautiful brick building that's been abandoned for a while. I love the nice concrete lintels and the brickwork and the arch above the windows and the canopy here. We have some great advantages of having this beautiful stack and the water tower. Normally we try to not use those, but imagine these are beautiful icons announcing this project in Greenville. This project is the new gateway to downtown as we see this, merging science and business right here as the new Greenville. So this is an axonometric where you'll note that over on this side is the 10th Street. Here is the railroad tracks that are abandoned right now. And so we're going to have a front door right here, but notice in the back you can see the stack here and you can see the water tower. This will be a great signage for the project and identify it well. And here's those abandoned rail tracks now. 10th Street, you can barely see it right there, but that's where we want to put this hike and bike trail. Which we think is a great asset for the community in downtown, connecting the residential from 14th Street all the way down to Dickinson. This blue is where we're going to have kind of this restaurant in the future. It's going to be a great space to kind of hang out, see the brickwork, see history, and this is the look of what we think it's going to look like inside when we're done, where you can see the historic brick walls as a conference room, but at the same time add a new high-tech look to it for the research organizations that will be here. This is what a retail area. We're going to have a grab-and-go coffee shop right away for this project. That looks great. Again, there's some storage sheds here now, but we don't think we have to get rid of all of them. Some of them we can keep and add new skin to it, and you can see what that would look like here as we modernize those buildings for new tenants in the future. And again, when we're inside that Haney building or the Export Lease Tobacco, look at how exciting that look can be, where we're going to have kind of old wood floors and this really historic but new science research business taking place there. That cool, new, high-tech looking has to weave in with the same brick work at the same time. It can't be all about history. We have to weave in tomorrow. And again, here's some of the things we can do to add onto existing smaller historic structures. But it's also iconic bikes. We got to have bike racks. That's going to, for a university town and for students, for research, for master's programs, they still use the bikes. We think that's important. So our bike here, connectivity, and we're going to use those as iconic sculpture pieces really throughout the project.
Universities around the country are building innovation parks. These innovation parks, typically built on large tracts of land on the outskirts of town, are devoid of today's walkable downtown culture. Downtown culture alive with a mix of retail, housing, and dining, all in walking distance. The downtown culture desired by today's young and educated workforce. Innovation parks have existed for over 50 years, broadcasting on the All Technology and Research Channel. They invest in startups in search of the next Google or the next breakthrough in medical science. Today, we are introducing an entirely new kind of innovation asset that learns from looking back, but that forges ahead. Introducing the country's first Pacesetter Urban Hub, right here in downtown Greenville, North Carolina. A Pacesetter Urban Hub, while similarly focused on innovation, is uniquely built upon three foundational elements: businesses, academic research, and downtown culture. Business that expands the universe from startups to include and highlight the power of innovating alongside of successful regional champion businesses we call Pacesetters. Add Pacesetters to the mix and enable them with all the resources of a world-class university in a walkable downtown, and the sky's the limit. Here's how the plan comes together.
Here's our master plan. Bottom line, we're going to put 14 buildings together, 1.3 million square feet of space when we're said and done. You can see that we're doing a little over 500,000 square feet of office, 210,000 square feet of residential and apartments, not for students. It's going to be for master's program, PhDs, and for young professionals here who would like to live among this project, live downtown, and where you live, work, and play together. Quickly, phase one, as you look at this, is in the orange. We're going to put 4 buildings together here. This is the Export Leaf Tobacco. This is called Pritchard Hughes. And then we're going to take the American Tobacco 2 warehouses all at the same time, renovate them. But we're going to transform this into a wonderful tenant that's going to do some great collaboration with ECU. The entire reason for this project is to have businesses leverage the great research capabilities of the university so that together the university and the business can elevate themselves together at the same time and bring jobs to downtown Greenville. That's what we need here, jobs. We don't need all these restaurant complexes. We don't need all the great retail, although that's clearly needed throughout the city. But in this particular complex, the goal is to have some retail, a lot of jobs, and a little bit of residential. Phase 2 is the yellow. We're going to add another, 55,000 square feet in a couple of buildings, but you'll see we're adding a little bit of residential here. And I do that because we're against the residential neighborhood. So I have to kind of scale it down and make sure it fits well against the residential neighborhood. Phase 3, we're going to add an office building and more residential. This is a beautiful office complex, as you see, right on the park. A massive park that you can this will not have cars here. The cars are on the white. And these are going to be kind of nice walking paths here. So this really interesting park that you can come right outside of your building, have a tree canopy, park benches, see activity, dine a little bit, for there's a restaurant here and a little bit of restaurant there. You'll see in a little bit. And then in phase 4, we'll finish it out with the second office building. We're going to put another office building, but by that time, to prepare for the parking that was here, I have to build this big parking deck of 1,400 cars, and then we'll have the granddaddy of the show right here for a massive, nice new high-tech research building right here at the front door with our fountain. So here we're going to see a little bit of peek of what early renderings look like. We're going to see a little bit more professional renderings in a little bit, but I just want to give you the flavor of how we think here and what's called the massing. When you see over here in the backdrop in the upper right, that's where that big 1,400 car parking deck, but you'll see we're wrapping it with the 2 office buildings here. This is that iconic new industrial type of building that will be the research front door face of Greenville. Here's that cool fountain we talked about as we do that. Next, here you're going to see how I really like to have this curved facade right on the park. And if you'll note up here, we're putting a building top restaurant and bar up here. We think there's a great view of the university, of downtown, of the hospital. It can all be seen from up here. And so that's kind of, before we show you the final renderings in and of itself, I'd like to thank the ECU staff, Ron Mitchelson, the chancellor. I'd love to thank the city for working with us to make this project happen. I'd certainly like to thank you for viewing what we have here planned for this great city. And we welcome any questions clearly by email. And you're welcome to go to our website and see this at elliottsidewalk.com. And we look forward to seeing you in Greenville for many years and watching Greenville grow. Thank you.
What a great video. We are here with you live at the new home of Intersect East in Greenville, North Carolina. We're in the Pritchard Hughes building, built in 1905. This is one of the first buildings that will be developed as part of this great partnership between ECU and Elliott Sidewalk Communities. I'm Sarah Thorndike, ECU's Vice Chancellor for Administration and Finance, and I've had the privilege of being part of a great team that's worked with Elliott Sidewalk Communities on this collaboration. We are so excited about the prosperity that this project is going to bring to Greenville and the region. We think that we'll have about 1,500 people located on this new parcel, and it will bring about $142 million to the area. The first 3 buildings, once developed, will generate about $500,000 a year in new tax revenues, and the total $160 million investment will generate more than $3 million in tax revenues. What a fantastic addition to the region. We hope that you will continue to monitor our progress on the intersecteast.com website. It is now my privilege to introduce you to ECU's Chancellor, Dr. Ron Mitchelson, and the master developer, Tim Elliott. Both are here to answer questions and to tell you about this great project. Let's start by the Chancellor telling us about how this is going to benefit ECU students and the region.
Well, I'm pretty excited about the project in general. We're building a destination here, a magnet. It's a magnet that will attract talent. It's a magnet that will attract investment. And from an ECU perspective, we will be able to attract talented students. We'll be able to attract talented faculty. And if you know anything about the location of the modern economy, they're looking for a pipeline of talent. And so these things come together in just a perfect blend of attractiveness to Greenville and to ECU. We're so grateful for the partnership, Tim.
Great. I just want to add a little bit as well. I think that we are extremely pleased to have been selected to partner with the university, do this great project. We look to bring downtown joy, vibrancy, but in this particular case, when we look at these beautiful historic buildings that once really hailed the economy of the past that have kind of been vacant now, it's our job to awaken these buildings, to be the first catalyst to bring jobs to the core of downtown Greenville. And when we bring that, we bring a lot of vitality that people will then also live here. They will buy here. They will dine here. That's part of the system. But at the end of the day, we're here to bring jobs to downtown Greenville.
We would love to welcome the community and questions.
So can you talk to us a little bit about the process? You know, how long is this going to take? What kind of phases are we going to be seeing here?
That's a great question. So the first phase of this project is going to be 3 buildings. These historic buildings here we're going to put in, and that's about 140,000 square feet of space. We are looking to get started on that. We'll be doing some cleanup in these buildings, and probably over the next, we will begin construction, I'm going to say probably third quarter of 2021. We have to go through design, we have to go through historic approval with the state and the federal government, and then we have to go through environmental cleanup. And so we'll start construction on that and hopefully finish toward the end third quarter of 2022.
Awesome.
But
And
that's just phase 1. And then for the remainder of it, though, we are looking to, as you saw in the renderings, it's 14 buildings. And I think those 14 buildings, when it's all said and done with the park, we're looking at a total of $325 million in investment. And that's going to take about a decade to do so.
certainly. And can you talk a little bit about what kind of renovations will they look like? You know, what kind of buildings are people going to be seeing?
So we have what you see here in the historic building. So when you look at the master plan, there are 2 L's. We have the historic facing 10th Street and an L reaching back right on the railroad tracks. Then we have what we call the new construction reaching in. So we have 2 to 3 story buildings right up here in the historic district. Then we will have 4 to 5 story buildings for the remainder of it.
Awesome. And can you talk a little bit about what those buildings will be once they are complete?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we have a mixture of buildings. That's the beautiful thing about when you have a good canvas like this in 19 acres right here in downtown Greenville. It's literally at the front door of of the city. When you come the overpass, you are now at the great corner of Evans and 10th. You will come down and see the city in its entirety. So we will have office buildings. We will have apartment buildings. We will have restaurants in here. We will have a park in here. It is meant not to be an isolated office park that is in the outskirts of the city. This is to be a blended urban park that meets the needs of young millennial workers and the things that they're looking for in the future from here on out.
Very exciting. And will any of the historic buildings in this area be preserved, or is it all going to be renovated?
All the buildings are preserved. When you make an agreement with the historic for a historic tax credit, we have to keep the exterior and most of the interior, whatever we can keep to do that. And there's regulations about that. So we weave in new interiors within the existing historic fabric.
Awesome. And what would you like to say to the community about following along with this? Is there any way that they can kind of track the progress and everything like that?
Yeah, that's great. So I'm pretty sure that ECU will have updates on its website.
Yeah, for sure.
So we certainly have a website called intersecteast.com, and all are welcome to check on that, and we look forward to updating that often.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
This is not for the both of you. You know, many cities like ours and the school, they're going through a bit of a financial strife right now. So why now? You know, in the middle of a pandemic where many people are financially struggling, cities are financially struggling, schools are financially struggling.
Great question. Ron, if you want to handle that, I'll take it as well.
I think from our perspective, the timing is fine. There are no real state monies directly involved, no student money involved, so there's very little pressure on the people that we serve, and most of the upfront capital costs, Elliott Sidewalk Communities is taking that responsibility and that risk, and that's one of the great parts of our partnership.
So it's going to be at soonest for the building next door and here to 2022. So when we open up, at least maybe 2 years from now, so we're hoping that the pandemic is a little bit more, we have to prepare for a successful tomorrow, and we know that day is coming. But we're obviously here, as you can see at the press conference, doing our social distancing. But we do believe that there is an economy around the corner in 2 years' time from now when we're ready to move the first tenants in. And then for the next decade beyond that, we should be good to go.
Can you tell me whose role it will be to secure tenants, and are those conversations taking place now?
Yes. As the master developer and developer of the project, it is our responsibility to both fund the construction and procure tenants. But I do have to say that we have incredible partners here at ECU. I want to mention Merrill Flood, who has been here and helped us already identify some prospects. Some prospects have already been reaching out to us, and there's always, of course, the East North Carolina Alliance, Economic Alliance. So it's really, there's a lot of us working together to really lift the eastern region, not just this project. So we all coordinate together to bring out-of-state, out-of-region jobs here, but we want to prepare the garden to meet the economy of the future for everyone. So it's really all of us collaborating together, but it's our responsibility as a developer to do that.
And we will be good partners in this. We have assets that the modern economy wants. This group of talented faculty and students across the way will be an important pipeline for these firms that want to locate here.
I guess any tenants you would like to announce today, or do you know when you expect the first tenants might be announced?
Yes, I think we're looking for around a mid-November-ish, early December, somewhere in there. Once we get all that done, we wanted to kind of show the vision of the project, the name of the project, and then we are crossing some T's and dotting some I's on some tenant work now, and we'll announce some great tenants in the near future.
Thank you.
And guys, what type of industries are you looking tenant-wise to fill the 3-story buildings here?
Yeah, very good question. I think we're looking for primarily kind of research, engineering, tech, bio, pharma, those type of projects for research. But we call this a pace setter urban hub as well. And what we mean by that is that a lot of your research parks are on the exteriors of towns, and then you have to kind of build a building on a parcel, and then when you want to go to lunch, you have to get in your car and go get a sandwich. This, we have the advantage of being right downtown. As you saw in the video, we're going to have a park right outside the door. We're putting a bike trail to connect right over to the exciting movement that's happening over in the Dickinson district. And so we think that we call it Pace Setter Urban Hub because we're looking for existing businesses that are looking to do some R&D in collaboration with the university to accelerate their growth. And then in so doing, they can bring prosperity to their own businesses, prosperity to the region.
I think this will match back with the College of Engineering and Technology, for example. It'll match back very nicely with the Harriet College of Arts and Sciences, which has a strong presence in biopharma industries in general. The Miller School of Entrepreneurship. I really believe that the collection of entrepreneurial spirit here will really be an important part of the ingredients that we bring.
And what was the importance of working on these 3 historic buildings first and being able to pull in tenants to kick off the project instead of some of those later pieces that'll be in the later phases?
There's what's called a historic tax credit that's associated with historic buildings that allow a developer to do expensive renovations, but also allow you to keep a rent rate lower because of the tax credit for it. And we think that this is in keeping with the exciting type of a building office space. You can see right in this building alone how interesting it would be to fit an office within this environment once we clean all this up. But so those 3 buildings were driven by the historic tax credit that has a sunset in January of 2023. We have to complete them by that time. And so that helps us to get moving on the project. And it also, by doing so, the historic aspect of this is the catalyst that really announces there are tenants here with the excitement of the campus ready to go.
It really does symbolize the transformation, right, that's ongoing within the region, needs to be in the region. Our mission is student success and regional transformation, and this is just a great example of the symbolic transformation of our economy here in the East.
And Dr. Mitchelson, can you explain what a public-private partnership is and why Elliott Sidewalks made a good partner for this project?
Like most good partnerships, there's a fantastic relationship based on trust and communication, and that's been present from day one. The function of 3P, the public-private partnership, we obviously had an asset, a great location, a tremendous value in land in the neighborhood of 20 acres, and so we had some skin in the game and something to provide. But we're not professional developers. We didn't know exactly what to do with this parcel, and I think we really do know what to do with it now.
Okay, any other questions? Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for coming today. I appreciate it. Lots coming ahead. This is a transformative project. We thank Dr. Mitchelson, the entire ECU community, and clearly the entire Greenville community in welcoming Intersect East to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.